Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we'll be talking about who will the Oklahoma City Thunder be signing in free agency. So before we start today's video, I want to hear those lovely opinions down below. This team has more than $40 million in cap space if they choose so. And they can throw a max deal at whoever they want. So I want to hear your opinions down below. Who do you think the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to do and sign in free agency this year? Let me hear those lovely comments down below, and let's get right into it. By the way, guys, if you guys follow Secret Base or SB Nation, I'm interviewing Seth Rosenthal, who's the executive producer and editor-in-chief for SB Nation and Secret Base. And maybe I'll be able to parlay that into a job. We don't know. But yes, let's go. Kemba's on this team, but I'm not going to really talk about him. So the free agents they have are Bradley and Svi and Josh Hall. I expect Josh Hall and Jalen Howard to be brought back, but Tony Bradley, Mike Muscala, and Svi are their technical free agents. And I think none of those guys get brought back except for maybe Svi, but Svi could also get signed by a veteran team that is going to be like, look, Svi's probably one of the most underrated three-point shooters in the league. He came into the league his first season. He was really with just the Lakers. He was a 31% three-point shooter. And then basically he in Detroit, he was above 40% on a bunch of threes a game. And since then, he's basically like a 37%, 5 attempts a game, three-point shooter. I really like him, and he's only 23. And he came over, started playing college ball at 17 or something ridiculous like that. So I think the Oklahoma City Thunder should sign John Collins. Okay? John Collins is a power forward and can play small ball 5. Averaged 17.6 points, 7.4 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 1 block, and 55 per game, and 55.6% from the field, 39.3% from 3, 83.3% from the free throw line on 29 minutes. Imagine they could overpay him and definitely get him. Like if the Oklahoma City Thunder try to get any good player, they're gonna have to overpay him, especially if it's a restricted free agent, because that's just what they're gonna have to do. And yes, the Hawks can match such an offer even if it's overpay, but if it's an overpay, I doubt they do it because they don't want to strap themselves to the caps because they have a bunch of other players they're gonna have to re-sign. So imagine them getting this high flying power forward. A pick and roll with Shai and Collins would be really impossible to stop, especially with the outside shooting abilities from both of them. And even if they weren't to get John Collins, the other three big names, Lonzo Ball, Jared Allen, Gary Trent Jr., are all guys who they could force the respective team to match their contract, just overpay him, see if they could just sign him, and that'd be really interesting to see. I think they would really, really enjoy that. Now, a guy people will like is Kelly Oubre Jr., Kelly Oubre 6'7", he can play shooting guard, small forward, and even small ball 5. He's a guy this past season he averaged on 30.7 minutes per game, 15.4 points, 43.9% from the field, 31.6% from 3, 6 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1 steal, and about a block a game. So he's a guy who can be a two-way threat. And yes, his three-point shot this past year was terrible, and for the majority of his career, it's been pretty bad. But in 2017, he shot 34%. And with the Suns in 2019, he shot 35.2%, okay? And average high teens, 18.7, and then 17 in his first year with the Suns, and then 16 points this past year. So he's a guy who could get high digits, be the third scorer for a team, and he could seamlessly fit, sign him to a 2-year deal while Aleksej develops behind him, and he starts Shai. And I have them drafting Isaiah Jackson, Josh Giddey and Scotty Barnes in the first round. So Giddey and Shai doing the duo in the backcourt. Then you have Isaiah Jackson as your center, and then your power forward, if you bring in John Collins, could be a rotation of Darius Bazley, John Collins, Kenrick Williams, and Isaiah Roby. And then you also have the idea, if you don't get John Collins, but you do get Kelly Oubre, you could have Aleksej. And Bazley I wouldn't play him at small forward, so I would have it be Aleksej and Kelly Oubre if they bring back Svi, Luguentz Dort, and yeah, those guys would rotate right there. I mean, Josh Giddey would also probably rotate if they drafted him. And then they'd also have at the shooting guard position, at the guard positions, just in general, both guard positions, if they drafted Josh Giddey, Shai, they have over here Ty Jerome, Theo Maledon, and Luguentz Dort can play shooting guard, and if they bring back Svi. So that's just a hell of a lineup. Now, look, another guy I think they could bring in, even if they sign Josh John Collins and Kelly Oubre. They could really bring in Malik Monk for like the mid-level exception, or just like whatever. He averaged this year 21 minutes a night, 11.7 points per game, 43.4% from the field, 40.1% from three, 12.5 rebounds, 2 assists, half a steal, and 0.1 blocks per game. He's a guy who at one point in like a span of games this past year was averaging like over 20 points a game. So I really think he's a guy that people are underrating and not realizing could be a phenomenal option for the Oklahoma City Thunder, especially being their sixth man. They need a guy who can score off the bench, especially if they do get Collins or Oubre or both of them, and bring in Josh Giddey, Scotty Barnes, and Isaiah Jackson. Giddey and Isaiah Jackson, I feel like it's pretty much confirmed they're going to get them, but it's either going to be Scotty Barnes or Jonathan Kuminga. They're going to get the leftover. Whoever. I have the Magic going Kuminga just because that fits them better, but Scotty Barnes has been flying up the draft boards. But if Scotty Barnes is there, they're going to take him, okay? And if Kuminga's there, they're going to take him. They're going to take the best pick available right there. So, now, what I think that this team has just been great, It's been so much fun to watch how they've been rebuilding. Sam Presti's just hoarding asset. And it's crazy, like, how much, like, contracts they have on the books. Like, they still have this upcoming season. They're still paying Kyle Sigler $1 million a year, which is ridiculous, and will be continuing to pay for the next 2 seasons. But they have Admiral Schofield, Josh Gray, Austin Rivers, TJ Leaves, Justin Jackson, Darius Miller, Miles Leonard, Patrick Patterson, Antonius Cleveland, all under the books this year. Next year they have Patterson, Sigler, and Schofield still in the book. So pretty crazy to think about that they still have this many players on the book, but they still have the abundance of cap space. Like right now, they only have $26 million. So they really could spend like $80 million. It's really incredible what they could do. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think of, I don't know if you guys can hear my dog just barking, just like a crazy maniac, just going the way she is. I don't know if you guys just heard me run. I just ran out my room and back. I'm going to keep this in the recording. So someone broke into my house and made my dog go crazy, but it's just my roommate grabbing food. We're going to leave that in the video. Pretty fucking funny. But that's it, guys. I don't know what else to talk about today, so that's why we're just going to do it like this, because I don't give a fuck. But yeah, that's it for me. Peace out, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy, and don't kill me.